Okay, now we're live on YouTube. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to County Court at Law number 6 via virtual hearing and Zoom hearings. We've got 3 cases set today. Cause number 639873, State of Texas versus Gary Pruill. How are you, Mr. Pruill?
I'm just fine, Judge. How are you?
And Mr. Shurak, we're all good.
I'm here.
2 tentative MTR set, and we need to talk to Mr. Jimenez about whether he still needs a continuance or not on Mr. Torres' case. That's cause number 512773, State of Texas versus Jose Rangel Torres. And last case is cause 545555, State of Texas versus Joel Soto with Ms. Suzanne Kramer. Mr. Jimenez, good afternoon. Did you get a chance to confer with the state on your case at this point?
I have, Judge. I was able to talk to Nicholas earlier this morning, and I think we've got something that we're about to work out. I've got it. That's going to be contingent on my client being able to complete one thing that the state's asking of him. So we may need just a little more time before we're ready to go forward.
Can you clarify for the court and the parties what exactly the proposed agreement is?
Yes, Judge. So my client has completed all of his conditions with the exception of $203 on his court costs and fees. And so my understanding is that if he pays those off, the state will be willing to let him terminate from probation.
Okay, state, is that your understanding of the proposed agreement?
That's good.
I guess my only concern is the fact that we have a cocaine hit and then we have an AWOL. Now, obviously, the original offense is possession of marijuana less than 2 ounces, which I think at this point in time, the state wouldn't even file on. Is that what everybody's understanding is?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did Mr. Torres actually go through any kind of outpatient drug course or anything as a result of this probation?
I believe he did the normally mandated DOEP class, Judge.
Is that right, Mr. Torres? You went to the DOEP class?
Yes, sir. I completed the course, the class.
Okay. And is Nick handling this one, or Alexis, are you handling this one?
Nick is handling it, but we're kind of overloaded right now, so I'm going to be the voice of Nick.
Is Nick going to show up today?
No.
Okay. Let's do this, reference Mr. Torres. Let's reset for a week to give Mr. Jimenez and me time to get with Mr. Maru. And I'd like to hear the state side of it from Mr. Maru's perspective. Once again, my concern is this serious drug issue. The original offense, I think we all agree is a minor offense in the overall spectrum of the world. But when you add to that a positive for cocaine and an AWOL, that aggravates it tremendously. But Mr. Jimenez, is that going to be okay with you? We'll just reset for a week and give everybody time.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yeah.
Not reset for a week. I am on vacation next week.
Oh.
MTR hearings.
Reset for
MTR
2 weeks.
No, I'm only taking one at a time.
Let's don't even reset. Let's just put you on standby, which is a mythical term.
We can set them for the 10th.
Which means that Mr. Maru and I will get together at some point this week and talk about this. And if everybody gets in an agreement mode, we're probably good. I think my hang up is I want him to go to a real outpatient drug course. I don't necessarily want to put him in jail, that kind of thing. But let's talk about that. So let's leave that open. Is that okay with you, Mr. Torres?
Yes, sir. And then also, I had already paid. I just paid off the remaining balance.
Thank you for that, sir.
Hey, Judge.
Yeah.
This case is too old to continue him unless you do a reform judgment and put him back on regular probation.
Is he on deferred at this time?
Yes.
That's probably what I had in mind, counsel, from the standpoint I want him to go to just a basic outpatient drug course, which is more extensive than DOEP. Mr. Torres has been a good scout since he came back after 4 years or however long he's been gone. But that would be my concern. And I think you and I and the state need to discuss that this week at some point.
Okay, Judge.
That would probably be my concern. And
okay,
I don't think that's going to hurt Mr. Torres any.
Okay, I'll be available, Judge. Just let me know when is a good time, and I should be, I say for the most part, available all week to go over everything.
Let's. Is Mr. Maru going to be around either this afternoon or tomorrow, Alexis? Do we know?
He's going to be here tomorrow.
He's where? I'm sorry.
He'll be here tomorrow.
Okay. Robert, why don't we tentatively talk about get up with Mr. Maru tomorrow at what, 10 o'clock? Would that work for you?
I can maybe do a little bit after, Judge. I've got a federal sentencing hearing tomorrow at that time.
Okay, I've heard your side of it. All I need to do is hear his side of it, and then tell you guys what I have in mind and see if that's agreeable or not. So we can, we don't necessarily all have to be on the phone at the same time. I just need to get all the cards on the table.
Okay, Judge.
Okay. All right, great. Well, we'll talk to you tomorrow, Mr. Jimenez. And Mr. Suarez, thanks for your help. And just stay in touch with your attorney. That's what you need to do, and we'll get something figured out this week. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Y'all are excused.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Chirac, are you ready to go forward on Mr. Pruitt's case?
We are.
Okay, I've got cause number 639-873, State of Texas versus Gary Pruitt. Spell Papa, Romeo, Oscar, Uniform, Lima, X-ray. And Mr. Pruitt, initially I need you to identify a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which purports to have your signature and your attorney, Mr. Chirac's signature on it. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Pruitt? Wow, there it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Mr. Chirac, as attorney for Mr. Pruitt, will this be your signature on this document?
Yes, it is.
All righty. The next document I'm looking at, Mr. Pruitt, is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Pruitt, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, Mr. Chirac. So in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, sir?
That's all true, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chirac, as attorney for Mr. Pruitt, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
He is, Your Honor.
Mr. Pruitt, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Chirac, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have, Your Honor.
What is the charge on this one? Let's see. Is this initially a driving while intoxicated first offense or greater than 0.15?
Greater than 0.15, Judge.
Okay, and is the state reducing this charge, or is he just going to plead to DWI greater than 1.5?
From my understanding, the greater than 0.15.
Is that correct, Mr. Chirac?
Oh, I think the plea agreement is a DWI first, isn't it? Because we're doing time served on this.
My understanding is it was going to be a judgment satisfied, time served. My understanding.
Right. So I'm thinking about the time in jail. If it's a class A, isn't it a longer time period minimum?
Ms. Benavides, do we have any jail time involved in either this case or any one of the other cases Mr. Pruitt had in the Veterans Treatment Court?
Your Honor, I checked on this case. I did not check on the others. I know that there was 1 day credit on this case. If you like, I can check if you give me a few minutes just to look.
Why don't you go ahead and check. Mr. Pruitt, do you recall having to spend more than 1 day in jail on all these different cases?
Yes, sir. 1 day.
Okay.
Okay.
And State, you're the expert on this one. Is there a statutory requirement for jail time on a Class A DWI greater than 1.5?
I want to say yes, Judge. I just don't.
How long is it? DWI first.
I think the plea papers say DWI first.
Gary, if you look at the defendant's waiver of constitutional rights and court's admonitions, and it lists all the punishment and the offenses, it states DWI first with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or more, $0 to $4,000 fine, and 0 days to 1 year in jail.
Okay, we're good then. Okay.
All right. Mr. Pruitt, in cause 639-873 to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement in this case, State?
Yes, Judge. It's 1 day Bexar County Jail, $400 fine, court costs, time and money to run concurrent, credit for time served, and we ask that it be a JSAT, Judge.
Mr. Chirac, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
On cause number 598724, he had 4 days on that one.
All right, Mr. Track, with your permission, let me just say 5 days and credit for time served, and then the state will look like real tough guys. Mr. Pruitt will not have to do any more time. Trust me,
That's great.
Mr. Pruitt and I are very close, and I have put him through the ringer for the last year plus. Isn't
I
that right?
heard you and him became good friends.
He was my favorite VTC defendant ever. Great guy. Okay, is that okay with you, Mr. Track?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Pruitt, the court accepts your plea of guilty and offense clause 639873 to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15. I find you guilty. I assess 5 days in Bear County Jail, a $400 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state of the defense of Mr. Pruitt?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Best of luck, Mr. Pruitt. Thank you, Mr. Turak.
Thank you, Judge. And Gary, give me a call.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Bye.
Adios. Okay, we're good on that one. And we're good on that one. And we have clause 545555, State of Texas versus Joel Soto, as represented by Ms. Suzanne Kramer. Are y'all ready at this time, Ms. Kramer?
Your Honor, I just told him that they were next in line and she was just checking on his underlying and then they were coming in.
Okay.
Okay.
You're back, Mr. Pruitt. You're like roaches. I can't get rid of you.
I'm trying to get out, Your Honor.
I'll get it. I'll get it for you. I'll do it.
Let my people go.
There you go. Okay, they should be coming back. I don't know whether he knows how to come back.
Okay, Suzanne, I just called case number 545555, State of Texas versus Joel Soto, and was inquiring if you were ready at this time.
You're on mute, Suzanne.
Unmute.
Suzanne, you're muted.
I didn't mute myself. Y'all must be muting me when I come in because I didn't mute myself. Yes, we're ready.
Okay. My understanding is that this is a third amended motion to revoke community supervision.
That's correct.
And Mr. Soto, there are two documents I need you to identify before we go through with this. The first one is entitled Defendant's Consent to an MTR, i.e. motion to revoke hearing by video conference, which reports to have your signature and your attorney's signature on it. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Soto?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. Soto, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
There is a administrative error where it says date for both the attorney and the defendant's signature. I see numbers 117075550, which is either some crafty Suzanne Kramer code for a date, or it's just a mistake.
It's my bar number. Yes.
Okay. Let's go with the date. What date did y'all sign this thing?
I think maybe yesterday, Pat.
Yes, it was the 19th, Your Honor.
Okay.
19th?
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Your Honor.
3 days ago.
All right. So Pat, if you would correct that on the actual original document.
I
to
will.
February 19th, 2021.
I will.
Okay. And Mr. Soto, the next document I have is called a trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. And this is purportedly signed also by both you and your attorney. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. Soto, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
This document, at least the copy I am looking at, is not marked, and it should be marked. I, judge of the trial court, certify this criminal case is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has the right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Do you agree that that is the correct paragraph to mark, Ms. Kramer?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and state, do you agree that's the correct paragraph to mark?
Yes, Judge.
All right, great. So Pat, if you'd mark that on there with your
Yes,
initials,
sure.
whatever it might have.
Make sure it's correct.
That takes care of that one. Okay. My understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke probation. Is that correct, Ms. Kramer?
Well, we're going to plead true to one and not true to pretty much everything else. So Yeah,
Okay, my understanding of the law is that basically you have two options. You can ask for a contested motion to revoke probation, or you can consent to my jurisdiction as the judge and still plead not true to something and let me make a determination. Is that what you intend to do?
yes, Judge.
Okay, fair enough. And Ms. Gross, let me go ahead and swear you in right now while I'm thinking about it. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okie doke. And representing the state is Miss Alexis O'Connor. Representing the defense once again is Miss Suzanne Kramer. On the third amended motion to revoke community supervision, how does the defendant plead?
Well, Judge, we've got, and I think we have to go through the whole thing, like, right? Like the,
You can either plead to one or all, I guess, whatever you'd like.
well, condition 14, which is the community service hours, she does in fact inform me that he has not done his 16 hours. I think it's 16 hours of community service.
So you're gonna plead true to that one?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And do you want to, go ahead.
On condition 17 and 19, he has in fact done those classes and he has forwarded the certificates of completion to his PO.
Yes, and we do have that, but at the time the motion was filed, he had not done them.
I understand.
Okay. So the defendant is pleading not true to condition 17 and 19 with an explanation, and the explanation being he has proof he actually completed them eventually. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, all good.
Then the rest of them, Judge, are all the diluteds and the positives for marijuana. And I hate pleading true to those without more evidence, especially the diluteds, but we are pleading true to number 14. So that gives you jurisdiction to hear it today.
All right, that's fair enough. So at this point, Ms. Gross, would you please clarify for the state, the defense, and the court what the status of Mr. Soto's probation is?
Yes, Your Honor. His reporting has been good. He's reported every month. We last saw him this morning. He has paid $759 towards his fees. He has a balance of $557, and he is paid up ahead a little bit at this time. We have no record of any of his 48 hours community service having been completed. He has completed the theft class and the drug offender education program. He has 8 positives for marijuana, 4 diluted drug tests. He's never provided us with a clean drug test. In looking at his levels on his marijuana usage, they go constantly up and down. It's not a consistent at the top or at the bottom. He fluctuates. And his officer is recommending that he go through an intensive outpatient program through CATS and that he go on weekly UAs. As for criminal history, he had 1 prior possession of marijuana, and I believe it was taken into consideration on the sentencing with this case.
This is true. I looked that up right before we started.
The initial case on this was a theft case, is that correct?
He had a possession and a theft, Judge, and he pled to the theft and they dumped the marijuana.
What was allegedly stolen or attempted to have been stolen back then?
That I do not know. Alexis would have to look that up.
Mr. Soto probably knows. Mr. Soto, do you recall what it is they said that you were trying to steal?
It was a pair of pants and that was it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Stated you got a recommendation on Mr. Soto's case?
Judge, we're gonna go along with probation.
Okay. Porney's good, money's good. He's actually caught up with the program. All right, here's the big question, Mr. Soto. If I send you out for your analysis test this week, are you gonna be positive for marijuana?
I'm trying not to, sir. I have gallstones and I've been drinking a lot of juices and waters to help the pain. And it's the pain just been getting worse.
Joel, real quick, just before you start rambling, it's not really what the judge asked you. He wanted to explain to you why he had so many diluted urines and those might continue in the future. And I didn't want him to get in trouble for those. He apparently does have gallstones and he's been told that drinking lots and lots of water kind of helps maybe flush them out. So that's what he's talking about. As to the smoking of the marijuana, Joel, what the judge asked you was, remember I told you that he was going to ask you this in the breakout room. If he sent you for a test, would you be clean?
I'm not sure this week.
Okay. How long ago did you smoke?
What do I do? 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
He also tells me, Judge, now, I mean, I think that basically, since he's had no criminal history, I think the IOP to the cats would be something that would actually be beneficial, since it's got some life skills, other stuff that goes into that. That would be actually pretty helpful for him.
Mr. Soto basically holds the record for more positives for marijuana than any criminal defendant I've seen in 43 years of doing this. But
Well, they were taking them every week.
basically, I'm getting at Mr. Soto seems to like marijuana, and I'm just concerned that no matter what we say or do, or of course we put him through, that we're going to be able to change that. So I'm going to ask Mr. Soto, can you stop smoking marijuana, sir?
Yes, I'll stop smoking.
Okay, you heard it here first.
It doesn't matter what I tell you.
Joel, we can hear you. Don't be talking to somebody while you're in court.
No, it's just that I have a condition to where it's a life-threatening if I do smoke. It's called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome.
I'm sorry, say it again. What kind of syndrome?
Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. CCHS.
What does that mean? What does that do to you?
Basically it's saying that, like, since my gallstones, if I do smoke, it could be life-threatening. 1 out of 30% do have it.
Then stop smoking.
Yes.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty motivational.
Susan, do we need to go into a breakout after this well, he's gonna, I mean, I anticipate he's gonna alter and amend conditions.
Yeah, no, after the hearing, I'll create all the documents. I'll send it to his officer, and his officer will be sending them to him for signature.
Okay. And then Pat, when we're done, can you send me and him back into, I can just go back into the breakout room for like 1 minute just to explain to him what all just happened?
You already can go back in.
Oh, okay, great. And then can we be released from there?
I'm also on GPS pre-trials as well.
Oh, for the bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he have a warrant out for him currently?
Not that I've seen, no.
Yeah, good. Susan, let me run this by you to make sure I'm not missing anything. We're going to continue his probation. We're going to add what, 6 months or a year, probably? What do we want to add?
He's already on until November of 21, so he'll be able to finish the program without an extension.
That's good. Leave that alone. And we want intensive outpatient drug with cats. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And cats, Mr. Soto is the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, which is one of the companies we use for these programs. And we can report in UA until I get a warm, fuzzy feeling that's not necessary. Substantial compliance. What else does he need to finish, Susan? He got the 2 courses, initial courses done.
He needs
community service.
48 hours of community service, and then he has a balance of 557, but he's actually ahead a little bit right now on his payments.
He's got plenty of time to do all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the GPS, Judge, if there is a GPS, bond GPS in place, could you remove that?
Is he on GPS now?
That's what he
Yes,
said.
sir, I am.
All right, we'll take you off of that right now.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Wayne.
Okay, Mr. Soto, in cause number 545555. The court accepts your plea of true with an explanation to condition 14, which talks about not completing community service hours, and not true with an explanation to 17 and 19, which are the 2 courses we didn't have proof of and that you eventually took and we did provide proof of. I'm going to deny your motion, the state's motion to revoke your probation, or you continued on probation with all prior requirements, alter and amending conditions, adding intensive outpatient drug course with the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety. I want him registered for that this week, by this coming Friday at 5 o'clock. He may not start classes, but I want him to be registered so he knows when that's going to start. I'm going to add a weekly report in UA starting this week. I'm giving him 30-day period of time to get clean. So yes, Susan.
You want him to weekly report or just weekly UA?
I'm sorry, weekly UA. This is probation. Thank you for correcting.
And Susan, are you going
So anyway, the bottom line is once he shows me, Suzanne, once he shows me 4 clean UAs, i.e. 4 weeks of clean UAs, with no marijuana or other colorful substances, I'll take him off of that. I won't know he's done that. You'll have to let me know and remind me.
And that's.
And then
gonna be
substantial compliance in all other areas. He can complete his community service hours, or we can donate $10 an hour to a court charity and do them that way. And basically, Mr. Soto, you're just gonna have to stop hanging out with your buddies and doing colorful things, and you'll be fine. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
We're waiving GPS, any prior bad things I did to Mr. Soto on his MTR bond we're taking back as of right now. So is GPS, I don't have him on Scram or anything like that, right? Just GPS?
Yes, sir. Just GPS.
Right. So as of right now, we're gonna get an order on the computer. So tomorrow, probably you can go get that taken off, but I would make sure it's on the computer before you go down there and waste a trip.
Yes,
Everything's
sir.
running slowly now.
What time would that be? Because I do work from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Well, you're just gonna have to check, Joel, just to see.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know exactly when that's gonna be.
Even if I have him on full GPS right now, I'm giving him oral permission at this hearing to go to work tomorrow if he hadn't been doing that.
Oh,
Whether or not
okay.
he's, because I'm waiving it now, so to speak. It may or may not be on the computer, but he can still go to work. And if we get a violation report, I'll remember. So that's the name of that too. All right, Susan, what else did I forget?
I think that's all, just that those 4 clean UAs, they need to be in a row, not clean, clean, dirty, clean, clean.
And I didn't, Mr. Soto, I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you this week, but I assume that's going to be positive. But you can surprise me; it'd be fine. But 31 days from today is when I'm really going to be looking at you, because if you stop smoking right now, in 31 days, theoretically you should be squeaky clean. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you're dirty in 31 days, you can ask your attorney what's going to happen. It won't be pretty.
I know.
All right.
I explained it to him in the breakout room.
Best of luck, Mr. Soto. Thank you, Ms. Kramer. Anything else
you.
on the state of the defense on Mr. Soto?
The only thing I have a question about is if he's got to be registered for cats by the end of the week, is he going to get that information from his PO?
Yes.
Okay. Does he need to?
It's actually in the phone book under Community Alliance for Traffic Safety. You can just call them and tell them you're on probation at a County Court 6 and that you need to take the intensive outpatient drug alcohol course.
I can give you their phone number, Suzanne.
Okay, thank you.
210-681-8655.
Cool. Okay, I'll text that to you, Joel, so you have it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck, Mr. Soto. Thank you, Ms. Kramer.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.